Right, hello again YouTube, welcome back to From the Depths. Now, last episode we launched our campaign, and I found out that we were going to be starting with a lot more resources than I thought we would. We actually have about 130,000, so I figured, while we do have a design already made, we have our patrol craft, we'd start this episode by building a second larger ship. I figured it would be a good idea to have maybe a little frigate type craft up already. So, this is going to be built similar to an old design that I made ages back. I'm gonna reuse the same concept. So it's not huge, maybe a little longer than that. Shape-wise, we will go a little bit wider than the other ship. We'll try and make this one a bit more inherently stable because it's going to be a bit slower. Right, we need to go. Let's go maybe something like that. A little bit of a nice curve to it. Yeah, that's alright. And the main armaments will be this. On the front of the ship, we'll have a cram cannon. This is a fairly powerful, if not particularly slow, fast-moving cannon. That will be firing armor-piercing high explosive shells. That's shells designed to penetrate a layer of armor and then go off and just wreak absolute havoc on the internals. And on the back, oh dear, it will have two missile launchers that will be facing out to the sides. That's the current idea. And we will also have a small laser munitions defense system. This will be able to actually, in theory, shoot down some projectiles. But of course, the first step is to design the hull. We'll maybe go for a bit taller hull as well. We'll maybe go for a 6 high. Even though it's not a huge ship, and that'll give us a good bit of internal space. Maybe even dip down somewhere, but actually, maybe no, we'll go with this for now. I have forgotten a little bit how to do decent-looking hull shapes in this game. It's been a while, but I'll try that. That should look okay. And then I believe we're on to 3. Yeah. Yeah, looks alright. Alright enough anyway. Right. Yes, this will be a bit of a larger ship, so there'll be a lot more space for us to mess around with. And this probably won't be RTG pad, unlike the other one either. This will be, this will have a combustion engine. But we'll have to keep in mind a little bit fuel efficiency. Basic shell. I think what we'll do for reinforcing that is we'll have a beam at the back of each of these. Same at the front. And then we'll have it angle in. We'll go. Except there, of course. Where we will instead. We'll just have that one do that, because that's going to connect straight to the upper deck. And this one will just be like that on the top layer. Right. That should give some... Oh, actually, it probably wants to be the same length, doesn't it? At least enough to... Yeah. That should be a little bit stronger. Front armor doesn't need to be super strong. It's probably not going to be taking a lot of the hits, but... Don't want it to be an obvious massive structural weak spot either. Go for a water pump. Let's check the flotation on this at the moment. Yeah, looking okay. Right. Try to think what the best thing to design first would be. Maybe the weapons, and then put the hull around it. Right, so... sub objects. 1-axis turret. Actually, we'll put down a... Should we put down a turret template? No, it's too small. That's fine. Okay. We'll work it out. So, unlike the original, this is going to be a turret that actually goes all the way out through the deck. So if we go For the sake of blocking this out, so now how much space we've got. If we go like that, just assume we're using that much space, that should be okay. So, connecting parts together, we'll use some 6-way connectors. A firing piece on top. And then let's see. We'll have maybe heavy barrels. I think they're more resilient, but they are slow. Actually, we probably don't need that. We'll have a few motor barrels. Some regular. It's usually quite a long barrel gun, I seem to remember. I have not got any of my old ships. I did clear the folder out. I had way too many, and I was like, I don't want to be trying to, reuse existing designs. I want to make new stuff to show off for you guys, and also a lot of the old ones probably had their issues anyway. Right. It's making an interesting noise. What is doing that? 3 pellets or compactors? Huh. So if we go like that. Yeah, that works. The way cram cannons kind of work in law is that they're literally like cramming pellets of like explosive or armor pierce or hardening material into like a sort of shell. And how you set the ratios of things changes how the shells react. So we would also need... So if we do that, so we've got equal, roughly, or a little bit more explosive than armor piercing. Probably pellet... Oh no, there's a different pellet compactor. Increase the payload capacity of the shells. Oh. I see, that's different. They used to be ammunition. We'll have a fusing box as well. Put that back. Put that one off. We'll have a fusing box here because we also need to set a fuse for the shells. And depth. And we'll go penetration depth. Yeah, 2 meters. That sounds about right. Punch through armor and then explode. That should be enough. We'll give it infinite resources for now. That should be enough to make a working shell. We then need gauge increases. What is our default gauge? Hang on. Oh, 1 meter. Okay. So they've increased the default. Yes, because these shells get large, shall we say? These guns get large. Actually, we'll do corner. That's probably right. And then do we need it to be that large, though? It probably doesn't really need to be that large, really. Like, 1,000's not bad, actually, as a default. We'll go with... Yeah, actually, we'll go with 1,000. 1,000's good, actually. That might even be what it was. So the turret neck's going to be there. So what we will do is we'll build a bit of a body for the gun, because what I'm thinking is we'll have a coincidence rangefinder in the back. That's normally how I would build projectile turrets. So what we do. That there. That there. Connector. Probably doesn't need to be armoured, actually, considering it'll be inside a turret box. Rangefinder. And for the air, we can also do a wireless receiver. The turret has its own detection gear built in. Yeah, actually, that looks quite good. Does that. Bit of round off the top. The sides, I should say. Do it like that, because it's going to need to tilt upwards quite high. Yeah, looks alright as a gun casing. It's not the nicest one I've ever made, but we'll add as a little decoration. Block it? Yeah, it doesn't block it. Got a little spotlight to it as well. And let's also add a control seat so we can test it quickly. The noise is interesting. I don't know if that's coming from the fortress or our ship or what, but... Is it the cram cannon's compactors? Oh, we need a weapon controller, don't we? This stuff is very much only temporary, but... I'll show you what a cram cannon does. Oh, packing payload, okay. Yeah, what's our reload time? 17 seconds, yeah, they're not quick reloading. What are we looking at for a shell? Shell speed 300 meters a second, slow, but that's fine. Elevation 45 degrees, yep, so it can go quite a high angle. I do like the sound. It used to be a really like bass boosted M1 Garand ping, I think, but I don't know what it is now. It might even still be that. 16.7 AP. That should punch through a metal beam, actually, I think. Oh, nope. But it will punch through wood. And explosive damage, quite a lot. Yeah, that should be a reasonably good cannon. Because it can land its hits. So, that's our frontal weapon. Next up, we'll add in our engine. We could use one of the existing ones. They're not bad. Actually, the pre-built engines. Could put in an eco, but I think it's too tall. Yeah, it's too tall for a hull profile. The Harmony is a nice balanced engine. It's not tremendously expensive. Plus, it doesn't need any outputs, which is nice. At least as far as I know, it doesn't have any outputs. Yeah, tell you what, we'll go with that. We'll just straight up save a little bit of time, use a pre-built engine for now. We have a larger ship. I'll build our own steam engines for it, but that should be okay for this one. And we'll have some fuel storage. Okay. Probably want to, in fact, replace this bit with a AI container, because we will guard the AI on this ship. We'll actually put some effort into defending it, and we will also add in the ammo reserves. And I have this is actually thanks to the tips and tricks series I did. Someone suggested putting them next to each other. As dangerous as it is, if you put them next to each other, you can defend both in one go, and that actually saves you some weight of armor. I'm like, yeah, actually, that's not too bad an idea. So, and we will have a decent bit of detection equipment on this ship, because the idea will be that we will use the intervehicle transmitter, so this can act as a bit of a spotter for the other ships as well. So I had 2 detection cards, and then behind it, we will separate these compartments a little bit. We will have our ammunition. And then we'll build a little bit of an armoured box around them. Be a little bit careful with the budget, but our actual budget for this craft is quite high. I might even chop out the bottom of the ship underneath this bit and change that to heavy armour as well. Even if it ends up being a bit of a larger actual space than it needs. We'll fill the space with surge protector. Although, actually, there's larger profile ones, I've just realised. So, yeah, we'll use those. These should, in theory, help stop EMP that gets in there, which, considering we're also finding the lightning hoods, is something we might have to worry about a little bit. There is a chance we will be getting lasered. So, that's our AI and control. Oh, we are. Yes, we may have flotation issues now. What I might do is add pontoons. Or widen the hull. In fact, I might add a hull bulge, actually. Well, yeah, we'll do that. So, if your ship is too heavy, you can do this. So, we'll start from... Actually, we'll start like so. One more. Yeah, this is the shipbuilding music I remember. The epic pirate music earlier, or whatever it was, but... This was the old shipbuilding theme that I always used to get stuck in my head. As I said, I used to play this a lot. This is the game I have more... I'm not necessarily that great at it, but I have more hours in this game than I think any other one, even still. I think, even though I haven't been playing it that much recently. And I really do like this game. It's just a shame development's been slow. But then again, they clearly have been adding things because the campaign overview caught me completely off guard for not being at all the same as it used to be. And that's probably a good thing. I appreciate them giving you a bit more resources to start with. It was definitely slow early game before. We'll have effectively 2 torpedo bulges, which is basically just an empty space that will A, add buoyancy, and B, will mean that if a torpedo hits the side of our ship, it shouldn't hit the main body, at least not as easily. Are we still going to sink, or are we just about buoyant enough? Let's actually try putting a bit of a deck on. We will go for reinforced decking. The ship is large enough to warrant it, I think I would say. I wonder if we could still cap the turret with light blocks. Does that still work? Not sure, but we'll do it. So, light blocks are expensive-ish, but they're they don't block anything. So you can use them to well, in theory, you used to be able to use them to cap turret heads, for example, and make them watertight, because they did at least still block water beforehand. Now, whether they still do or not, I don't know. Not breached. Okay. Okay, so it's quite low in the water, but it isn't sinking. It does sit very low in the water. Crikey. We might need to expand these. And potentially make them out of something lighter. I don't want the ship to be just sinking of its own accord. The best way to get this thing above water, I wonder. Would just be a layer of light alloy at the bottom. It floats, right? Buoyant, yeah. Okay, let's try just adding a under the ship layer of light armor. Kind of like adding foam to the bottom of a ship or something. It will add to the cost a bit, but for the sake of not sinking, I think that's a worthy cost. I don't know whether people will enjoy building episodes or combat episodes more, but of course I suppose we haven't actually got to any combat yet, technically, but hopefully we'll try and keep a bit of a balance. Like I say, with larger ships I might cut some of it out, but at least early on I want to show it all off. Of course, building ships is a big part of the game, and if anyone has any suggestions for ship types or classes or anything, do let me know. I do read the comments. I am happy to take suggestions from people. Right, okay, yeah, we're floating a little high in the water now. I'm a little happier with that. Oh. O2 frigate. 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 I have to come up with a proper class name earlier, but later, but for now. This will use larger propellers because we have quite a lot of power. We'll also use shields on this craft, again, because we have a lot of power. We have energy to spare. Right. Oh, yes, right. I took the chairs and things out. Yes, this has a larger bridge as well. This has a bridge mounted above the hull. We'll make it out of alloy because we're clearly having a little bit of a weight issue already. But we'll put these on deck. We could, of course, also make it a hydrofoil, so that when it's moving, it's it only ever goes forwards, but it can lift itself out of the water a little bit and steady itself. Especially seeing as it's sort of lunging a little bit at the moment. It is quick, though. In fact, let's do that. Set that up now. So, that's why I usually found to do this was to go like that, and then we'll maybe also have some at the front. Oh, it does help if they're facing the right way. Maybe here even. Just to the front. And just go. Resting angle, 45 degrees. Spread to neighbours. Literally just. Paste spread to neighbours. Paste spread to neighbours. See how this works. Yeah, they'll lift it out of the water when forward momentum is there. Be a tiny bit slower, but a little bit more steadily. I'm not so sure on that, actually. But then again, it's kind of lurching either way. What we could potentially do is use these to then stabilize it on a PID steering. Which you might do, actually. Yeah, in fact, let's have these... Oh, wait. Turn to auto. Okay, hang on. Oh, let's take that off. Or is it reasonably stable? Well, it's reasonably, but no, I think I'd prefer to have it be able to reverse, so... take them off. Actually, having the front one on's not a bad idea. That's keeping it a little steadier. Doesn't seem to turn very well. Where's the mainframe? Oh. Oh, have I not given it an AI card? Oh, did I give it a card and not actually put anything on it? Hang on. I did. In fact, I filled the space with surge protectors. Okay, that would be a slight problem. AI aim point selection. That will aim for vital points in the enemy ship. Okay. Add the bridge. So, bridge will be fairly compact because we're going to want to put the missile launchers kind of on it, sort of. So what we'll do, we'll have a little, like a little armored box just to protect us, basically, while we're on the ship. And then around it, let's see, what's the best way to install this launcher? They're going to stick outside of the ship no matter what we do, but that's fine. 6 launchers. These will be medium missiles. These will be larger. They will have ejectors, which will kick them up into the air a bit once they're fired. Oh dear. Right. Gantry. It'll be quite small missiles if I can get away with that size. They might have to be longer than that. Yeah, that should be okay. So, they will want a... we might actually just go for short range. Go for a 1 turn. Yeah, that should be okay. Let's activate. Is this thrust delay? Delay, yeah. 1 second. Duration, yeah, that's fine. Oh, and then I also need to do action vertically. Yeah, give him a 30-degree lob, and we'll just test that quickly. Yeah, that's about right. Although we do want them on a bit of a delay. that was friend or foe. Do 0.2. Yeah, it seems to be controlling it okay though. On the front of our quote-unquote bridge. Bridge slash, I guess, missile armoring, and then we'll put our laser anti-munition system on top of that. Its own sort of semi-armored shell as well. Yeah, that looks quite good. We could put doors in here, actually. Yeah, if we put doors in there, then we can actually get in and out of it as well. Having to teleport through a wall or whatever. Yep. And let's add the rest of the systems. And we'll also add our radar mast up there as well. So, laser systems. We're going to have to keep this one quite flat. Probably have to be just forward facing, I think. Or forward on the sides. Should be fine. So, the way lasers work is you have a central core. Whatever kind of output you want on it. It could be like the combiner to turn it into an actual turret, or it could just be LAMP node to turn it into a defensive system. But what we might have is, I might push these to the outside a little bit. We'll do that first, and then we'll put the LAMP node on. Then you need actual power generation, so we'll have a cavity that'll take in power. Can have... Yeah, that's right. And we'll have some single input cavities just to store a bunch of extra power. Oop. We use laser pumps to pump power into the system. In fact, we could use 3-meter pumps, that should be fine. Yeah, but what we'll do... Sake of power density, we'll put single cavities every, that far between each one, and then we'll have just the 3-meter pumps. Store plenty of power for the system. At least a reasonable amount at any rate. We'll have Q switches, it will be continuous. Pumps can only fill cavities in 15 seconds. Can we have more storage or single input cavities? Oh, that might be saying it's actually quite fast charging, it thinks. But I think it'll be okay. It's going to be in heated battle, probably, so... Right. Should be nice and low profile, though. And we'll also need connectors. What I can even do, I think, if we go... Yeah, there we go. We can connect those up, and then we can put the detection systems right next to the nodes. Do need these to actually detect projectiles. Percent range. Okay. Do the same thing at the back. We'll have a single connector, which will just check behind it for incoming, and we'll just do that this time. We can cap this with something. Put the radar setup on top. Or our detection mast, I should say, on top. But yes, as I said, this is a sort of homage to a really early design of mine, like one of my first decent ships. Using a lot of the same ideas, just modernized a lot more. Using either the modern parts or just the better looking equivalent of doing the same thing. Or better defended... You get the idea, hopefully. I'm doing something that worked before, but I'm making it better. Hopefully, making it better at any rate. We will test this one by throwing some stuff at it. can see over the top of the turret. And then we've even managed this in a little bit to save space. We'll have our detection system. Keep this one fairly low profile, I think. So let's go. A radar tracker on top. Yeah, 4 90-degree radars. So that'll detect things. I think the rangefinder gives us reasonably good accuracy. Should do. What's your detection rate? Distance detection. Yeah, I think between the two, that should be reasonably good. It keeps our detection system very low profile compared to the other craft, even though it's not up on a mast. We will need another detection card, because that's using a bit more processing power than I thought. So what we might even do is, we don't need 2 transmitters on the side of that. We might just put another one here. Which we've already made the space for it. Yeah. Alright. I believe that should be the ship functioning to some degree. Let's spawn in a Marauder for it to test fire against. Ah, we don't have the cannon actually rigged up to fire, do we? Or either the weapon systems for that matter. The munition system was firing there, but didn't actually defend against any of it. Oh, but it is zooming. Right. Let's actually wire the weapon systems up. He's going to have to come into the cabin a little bit, but that's fine. Getting hits. Might end up wasting some missiles, but we'll just have to live with that. Right, frontal cannon. Now the gun will need an extra component. We need a failsafe. That will stop us accidentally shooting our own ship. And then of course we need to collect the turret. I think that was a miss, but I'm not surprised by that. It was the first shot. We'll also need to armor up the turret itself. Oh, good hit. Not tremendously powerful, but it shouldn't be too bad. Might put the ejection azimuth up even higher to make sure they don't hit the water. We do have a 1-ton, right? That should be... Oh, we could add turning thrusters, actually. Yeah, I'll add turning thrusters so they can do quick turns. These aren't going to be particularly long-range missiles. Also need to set it to salvo mode. We also need to stabilize it a bit, because the ship should not be jumping out of the water like this. It does mean it being a bit slower. Up there a bit. Yeah, there we go. That's a bit more like it. A bit steadier in the water. It's slower, but how fast you're going actually does affect your aim anyway, so it's probably not too much of a bad thing. Right. Now, the laser munition defense wasn't great, and I think that might partly be because I've realized I've got no none of the things that make it consume extra power to do more damage, so we might swap the back out for one of those. Yeah, destabilize it. try a duster that's got some missiles on it as well and see how well it does at shooting those down. Okay, it hit one of them. That's not too bad. Well, tremendous performance, but... Well, what we should definitely do, we should do, we should at least give it space to fire in those angles. At least make it look like it can fire that direction. And in case it actually does matter. Yeah, I don't think this will be our anti-air boat, but... Let's try and shoot our own shell. Definitely shouldn't be doing that. I was trying to shoot their missiles, I think. Right. This is not really the sort of target I should probably be testing this thing on, but the lack of ability to hit this one little craft is a little bit of a nuisance. We could add a small tertiary turret. Yeah, tell you what, we'll add a little extra turret. We'll add something to the back. Let's go for, yeah. Yeah, the octuple pom-pom's been quite good, actually. Back of the ship will also have a fail-safe on it with wireless receiver. Costs about 50,000. It's definitely too heavy. It should not be diving in and out of the water like this. Tell you what, we'll do pontoons. It's gonna be I think it's going to be a primarily building episode, but that's fine. So, cheap and easy trick. Your ship is not floating properly. It's not the prettiest, but it is functional. What you can do is add a couple of side pontoons. And the advantage of this is we can then upgun the engines. So we'll be able to make it faster again as well. As long as it's stable enough to do so without trying to dip below the water. Basically, you add a couple of big floating sections to the side. I'd add something nice and lightweight, like well, light alloy. Or wood is also an alternative, but I'd like them to be a little bit more resilient than that. Tell you what, we'll seal these up now so we can check the buoyancy, but we will put a proper front on them. Yeah, and all of a sudden, yeah, look at that, we're floating a lot higher. I tell you what, I'll actually extend these out a bit and we'll have we'll just have them compartmented. The other thing these will act as is another secondary torpedo bulge. We actually have two of those, so torpedoes should not be too much of a danger for this craft as long as they don't come from the front, but the front's better armoured anyway. And building it too heavy in the first place is probably just a sign that I haven't played for a while. I was getting reasonably good at building pretty reliable ships, but it has been a while. I've definitely either, again, forgotten some things or just discovered that some things have just changed anyway. Like, again, campaign. We will, I'll just cap it off a little bit square. We are son of a pirate. It might have a smart mum from the Lightning Hoods, I believe, is the thing there, but we're still also a pirate. We're still definitely going to do some jank solutions. There we go. It's a bit more like it. And we'll... sure there's a nice front connector. Maybe the idea is this is a existing warship they've basically overloaded. It's like, oh shoot, do something, we need to stop it sinking. It's like, oh, we'll strap on some pontoons, and then they've just never taken them off. There we go. That looks alright, actually. Put the big propellers back on. Maybe two. Why not? Loads of spare power. We will put some shields on. Full speed. How do we do? The AI takes over halfway and ruins our ability to tell, apparently. Spawn a couple of dusters. Oh yeah, I think the laser node's definitely trying. Yeah, it's a lot steadier now. It is quicker. It's not necessarily quicker, I think it might be a bit slower actually, but it's still nice and steady. Okay. It's bloating in cost gradually, but we still have enough resources to build 2 of these and some more patrol boats. What do shields cost? Actually, no. Maybe not shields. Maybe what we'll do is the alternative. Ring shields. Yeah, assuming we're going to take hits from the side, what we'll do is we'll fill the pontoon segments with ring shield. And what ring shields do is they kind of provide like an armor bonus to the entire ship. We'll put one in each corner. Basically, the more pipe you have, the bigger the bonus. Quite simple, you just build the loop. I believe if the loop is broken, the shields go down, but the bonus goes. Error is 0. Oh, facing into the ring. Oh. Oh, right, left. Yeah, right, left shield. Interesting. How that works has apparently changed. It's requesting a lot of power, actually. Large power draw, but that should mean it provides good protection. We've got the engine power to spare. I think these are going to be... yeah, this ship's going to be about 1,000 resource draw a second. It's going to be a lot more expensive than our no resource draw a second other ships. Well, our engine is going to run quite hard now. We might be trying to drain slightly too much power, actually. Maybe just one. Oh. It's gone. Right. Oh, and of course we need some other bits and pieces. We need... yes, we do want repair bots on this ship. Probably more than the other one, if anything. Put 8 of them up there, that should be good. And we'll put a couple on the inside. I cannot for life of me remember if repair bots can travel through walls, and at this point it may have changed anyway. We'd also want to put a lightweight cover around the gun internals. And we will need to put another water pump in at the front. Or air pump, I should say. In theory, our slightly heavier fire support is complete. Let's spawn in a Marauder so we can test it against a surface ship, and so we get at least some combat footage in this episode. It'd be good if it can shoot back at us, yeah, because then I don't even think the laser node's hitting it there, but oh well. It's not hitting us, that's fine. Testing the shell. Oh, punched out part of its paddle wheel. Missiles are short-lived, but should do some reasonable damage. Tempted to make them just variable thrusters anyway. I'm not sure there's any difference at this point. Not sure the extra speed's actually worth it. Variable thruster. So lifetime is 20 seconds. Thruster fuel, seconds. Oh, fuel duration, yeah. 20 seconds. Did we just take a heavy shell? Probably not. We don't seem to have taken any damage from it if we did. Struck about there. That did look like it did some damage, yeah. Well, that made fairly short work of that. What, a 50k material craft? What's the Marauder these days? 30k. Yeah. So it did that with no damage, and admittedly the Marauder was splitting fire, but still. Alright. I think we'll call that episode there. Hopefully you've enjoyed a bit of building. And yeah, next time we'll go back to the campaign and we'll get some of those built. And we'll start building up a proper fleet and hopefully go fight the Lightning Hoods. So I'll see you guys all next time. Bye-bye.